COP30, was it a waste of time or did it achieve anything? Now, for those who are not very familiar, COP is a conference where most leaders of the world come together and discuss and try to find solutions to climate change. Now, the recently concluded one in Brazil, for some people, was a disappointment. And the major thing that most people are angry about is that the fossil fuel, which is a major cause of global warming, climate change, wasn't mentioned. But that's not to say, as a glass half full kind of person, that's not to say a lot was not achieved. To be honest, the mere fact that leaders sit in one room and try to address problems is a step in the right direction. The facts are 2015 to 2024 is the warmest decade in history or on record. 2024 is the hottest year on record. So the trend is clear that we're having a warmer climate. What's the impact, visible impact of that? Well, not too long ago, you saw what happened in Jamaica. You saw the floods, the series of floods, hurricanes, storms, and all of these things we're having to deal with. And in case you're not seeing that, just have a look at Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, and all of these countries, Somalia, where drought has gotten to a point now where farmers, people are struggling for food. And I hear people complaining about immigration. Humans will always gravitate towards survival. If Somalia is getting dry and Kenya is getting dry, people will migrate to where they can find survival. And so these things are linked. If there's any lesson that I think we can take from COP, is that leaders flying across the world at heavy cost on the environment because of the emissions from the flights and all of that, to sit down to discuss should mean something. But I think the power still remains with you and I. This country's focus on business, and someone like Trump, decides to just stay out of it because we, the people who vote these leaders in, are more concerned about cost of living, which, to be fair, is a serious problem. But if we look beyond the immediate cost of living to say, we're coming to a point where you won't even be alive to think about living anymore, then we might be able to put pressure on our leaders to think more about the future while trying to address the problems of the present. And so, if there's any lesson I think we can take from this recently concluded COP, whether you think it was a failure or a progress, we must understand that the power still remains with you and I. And it is what we want that our leaders will have to do. So, in your little capacity and in your circle, continue to advance conversations about why we need to stand up for our planet.